You are welcome to my channel. In this video, we'll be solving questions. It will be a series of videos. We'll be solving questions from the Engineering Drawing with Worked Examples, 3rd edition, book 2 by Pickup and Packer. And we'll be solving questions from page 209. That is on trace of lines. So we have four examples there. We're going to solve all the examples, and the things we'll be determining are, we're going to determine first the true length of the line. Secondly, we'll determine the angle of inclination of the line to the principal plane. Principal planes mean to the horizontal plane and the vertical plane. Then we'll finally determine the trace of the line. So those are the things we're going to determine. I'll start with the first question, which is this one. So the first thing to do is to draw a horizontal line. Draw a horizontal line. Place it close to the middle as much as possible. After drawing the horizontal line, then I'll draw a vertical line, because we need to draw the given view. That's the first thing. Let me move it a little bit away from the end of the paper, like that. So we have been told that the distance between A here to here is 12 and B prime is 76, while the span is 88. So we're going to measure 12 and we'll also measure 76 to locate A prime and B prime. So I'm going to measure 12 here. This is 10, 12 is here, and the next one from the XY line is 76. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This 76, sorry. So I think what we'll do, in order to minimize the space that will occupy, let us reduce everything by 2. So that means this one I'm going to measure 6. This one will be 6. Then the 76 divided by 2, that will be 38. 38, 1, 2, 3, 8. 8 is here. So that the line will not be it will not occupy too much space on our drawing. I've scaled it to 1 to 2. So then for the line on the plan, this is the elevation and this is the plan. So for the plan, I have 20 and 100. 20 and 100. So, but because we are scaling to ratio of 1 to 2, this one will be 10, and the other one, that is 100, will be 50. It will be 50. 50 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 50. So don't forget, this is our XY line. X, Y. So I'm going to draw a horizontal line from all those points that I've measured. This is the first. Let me start from here. This is the 100 for the plan. 100, and this one is the 20. Remember, I didn't measure 20, I measured 10. This is the 6 that is representing the 12, and this one is the 38 that is representing the 76. So I have all my line now. I need to measure the width. What is the width again? 88. Let's see it. The width is 88. So I'm going to measure 44. 44. I'm reducing it so that I'll have enough space to work with. That doesn't mean that when you have a question you must reduce it. No. Because this one is for learning purpose. So I decided to reduce it so that it can, everything I will do will be on the paper, can be contained on the drawing sheet. So let me take this one vertically upward like that. I don't need this one. There's no point there. So my line is coming like this. From the drawing, it is going like this, and this one is also going like this. So that is my line. So the next thing, let me label them. This is A prime, B prime. Whereas the other part is A2, B2. Okay, it's 1, 1. This one is A2, B2. So this is A1, B1. Now, the next thing to do is to now determine the true length. And to determine the true length of this line, because the line is inclined to both horizontal and vertical plane. Now, what you need to do is to draw a line perpendicular to this line. And I want to do it first angle projection. So this one I'll project it downward, this one I'll project it upward. That is doing it in first angle projection. So I'll place my set square here. When I place my set square on this line, I want to draw a perpendicular line to this line, A1, B1. So I'll put this one behind it, hold it firmly and shift it a little bit away from it. Then I can now draw my perpendicular line. This one will come like this, and the other end will come like that. So after that, I need to draw, this is X, this is Y. This line is XY line. I need to draw another XY line so that I can indicate, I can use it as a basis for my next, or this thing. So let me push it a little bit like this. It's not working. Like this. Just move it a little bit away, and then I will have another XY line. This is X and this is Y. Another way you can draw this or a parallel line to this is to just measure a certain dimension. For example, if you measure this one and this is 62, if you measure this other side too, it is 62. So what you can do is that when you have drawn this line, the perpendicular line, you can measure a particular number away from this drawing so that our drawing will not fall on the plan. So it will be a little bit away from it. So I can measure maybe 70, measure 70 here, then draw this line. Definitely it will be parallel to this and it will be perpendicular to these two lines. So that's another way of getting your X. I can call this one X1, Y1 line. Now, to determine get the true length of the line, since we are working on, this one is the vertical plane, this is the VP, and this one is the HP. This side is the HP. Now, since we are working on the VP, we'll take our dimension from the HP. This is the HP, the one below the XY line is the HP. Now I want to get my A3. Since I stopped at A2, A3. To get A3, I'll go and look for what is the value of A2 measuring from the XY line. So the value of A2 measuring from the XY line, as we have on our drawing, is 100. It is 100, but because we scaled it down, that means we are going to measure 50. So from the X1, Y1 line, you measure 50. From here, we measure 50. That will be on 90. So let me explain that again. We are working on the VP. So we take our dimension from the HP. Our A, we want to get A3. So this is our A3 now. And since we are working on the VP, we take our dimension from the HP. And A from the XY line, A2 from the XY line is 100. Because we have scaled it, it will be 50. That is half of it. So that's why I measure 50 from this XY line, and I got this. Now to get B, this is B on the VP. You go and look for B on the HP. So what the value of B on the HP? B on the HP is 20. So this value is 20. So that's what we are going to measure here. And don't forget that we are scaling it. So this one will be 10. Because we actually measure 10 here, half of the 20. So that will be our B3. Then you draw the line. And we draw with thick line. So that's the true length. So what we just do, let us measure it and see what the true length is giving us. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 65, 66, 67, 68. That is TL is equal to 68 millimeter. All units are in millimeter. You can write it millimeter, or you indicate on your scale that all units are in millimeter. Then you don't need to write any unit on your drawing. So we have been able to obtain it now. But for you to confirm that what you have done is correct, we are going to determine the true length of the line from using the horizontal plane, and you are supposed to get the same thing, because this line is the same thing as this line. It's the same line, viewing it in the horizontal vertical plane and viewing it on the horizontal plane. So let us now determine the true length of the view on the horizontal plane. So I'll put my set square on this one like this, but I need to draw a perpendicular line to it, then shift it a little bit away. Then I can put my set square there. I can put this one, so I can draw my perpendicular line like that. Go to the other end, and I'll draw it like that. So let me use the other method to get my x2, y2 now. I want to measure, let me measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think 50 should be enough because of space. 50. Then I'll come to this place too and measure 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 50. So I'll just put it on this line now, and I'll roll it. That will be my x2, y2 line. Now that I'm working on the horizontal plane, I'll take my dimension from the vertical plane to get my A3, A4 and B4. Now, working on the horizontal plane, take dimension from the vertical plane. Now, to get my A4, I'll measure A from the XY line to A1. So, which is 12. But because we scale it, I'm going to measure 6, because that's what we measured here. I'll measure 6 like this. That is 6. And my B is 76. My B is 76. And when we scaled it, I got 38. So I'm going to measure 38 from here. 38 from here. 1, 2, 3, 35, 36, 37, 38 is somewhere here. Then I can now draw my line like this. That is my line. So then that's the true length of the line, and getting it from the HP. Now let us measure it. If you have done it very well, you should get the same figure, or plus or minus 1. Let us count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 68. This one is 68. 68 equal to 68. So we actually got 68 here and 68 here. That means that what you have done is correct. It's very, very correct. So the next thing we are going to do now is to determine the true length of the line. That's the next thing on the question. To determine the angle of inclination to the principal plane. Now, this one is from the horizontal plane. Remember that we obtained this true length from the horizontal plane. So the angle of inclination we are going to get from that will be angle of inclination to the horizontal plane. And how do you get angle of inclination? This is the x2, y2 line for this one. Then you extend the true length until it crosses the x2, y2 line with dashed lines like this. Yeah, it has crossed it here. This is the x2 y2 line, and this is the true length. You extend it until it crosses that line, and you measure the angle that it will form. This angle is the theta we are talking about. And let us measure the angle now. Let's put it. Don't forget, when you are measuring angle, this point where you have the cross must be on the point that is connecting the two lines that forms the angle, and the line at the bottom must be on the line at the bottom. So you place it like this. It should be like this, and you measure the angle. Okay, it's upside down. See it again. So the angle is, this is 20, 10, 10, 20, 25, 26, 27, 28. 28 degrees. That's what I got for the angle of inclination. Then I need to also determine, that is to the, and this one is angle of inclination to HP, because we are taking this from the HP. We got this true length from HP, so it will give you HP. Now let us determine the angle of inclination for the VP. This is the one that we use to project the true length of the HP. It's for the vertical plane, which is here. Now you also extend it to intersect with the XY line. Extend it to intersect with the XY line with dashed lines. It's intersecting with the XY line. Now measure the angle at that point. I'll place it like this. Yeah, like this. And measure the angle. This is 10, 20, 30, 35, 36. This one is 36 degrees. That is angle of inclination to VP, theta to VP. So that is the angle of inclination. We have been able to solve that part of the question. Now the last question that we're going to solve is to determine the trace. To determine the trace. In order to determine the trace, that one too is also easy. Let me erase this. To determine the trace, all you need to, for any line to form trace, that line you need to trace it, and it will get to the XY line. For example, I want to trace this line. I need to extend it until it gets to this XY line, which is this line here. This line here, I need to extend it until, so when it gets to that XY line, it will either move downward or it moves upward. Why is it moving that way? Because it needs to intersect with the other one on the vertical horizontal plane. For example, if you are trying to trace the one on the vertical plane, it must intersect with the one on the horizontal plane. What do I mean by that? Now let's trace this one now. You extend it until you get to the XY line, like this. So it's gotten to the XY line at this point. Now, for it to meet this XY line, of course, it needs to go down. If it should go up, it will continue to go. It can never meet this line. So you need to project it downward now. In this case, it will come down. So you project it with hidden lines, with dashed lines. Like that. And how will it meet this one? So you need to extend this one now to meet it. You need to extend this to meet it. You extend it to meet it like this. So it is meeting it at this point. So that means it has formed the trace here. And what do we mean now? We are tracing from the vertical plane. In this case, vertical will give us horizontal trace. So this will be horizontal trace, HT. Remember when we were doing the angle of inclination, the horizontal one gave us horizontal plane. Vertical one gave us vertical plane. But in the case of trace, horizontal will give you vertical will give you horizontal. Now we are tracing, because this is the one that has gotten to the XY line. So we are tracing from the vertical plane. It will come and form horizontal trace. When you trace it, once it gets to the XY line, it will come down. Now we can't say this one has formed a trace. because we are not tracing. Before you can form a trace, this one on the horizontal plane, it must get to the XY line first. So when you get to the XY line, that is when it will now either go upward or downward, so to form trace. So this one coming to this place cannot form any trace. It is this one that has gotten to the XY line that can form trace here. Now for this one to form trace, it also need to go to the XY line. If I trace it downward, it can never get to XY line, so that means it will have to go upward. So I'll stay on this one and extend it so that it will intersect the XY line with dash line. Yeah, it is intersecting XY. Let me erase this Y and move it a little bit away. Let's say this is my Y, so it is intersecting it at this point. Let's see that again. Okay, it's intersecting at this point. So at this point, it will need to either go upward or downward. If it should come downward, look at it now. If it should come downward, it can never meet this one, because before it can form a trace, it must meet this one on the vertical plane. We are tracing the horizontal plane, but it must meet the one on the vertical plane before it can form trace. So definitely we need to trace it upward, because we can extend this one to go and meet it. So you use dash line to trace it upward like that. Now you can now extend this one to go and meet it like this. So it is meeting it, so it is forming the trace at this point. So remember, this one is tracing from the HP. Because we are tracing from the HP, it will form vertical trace. So this one will be VT, vertical trace. So that is the solution to the question. So if you have enjoyed this question, and if you have enjoyed this video, do like the video, share the video, and subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Thank you very much for watching. We'll meet in the next video.